Hi, my name is David Tanner of TannerConstruction. I'm a licensed general contractor here in Western North Carolina. Today I wanted to share with you our work table. The work table was inspired by Ron Paulk and his mobile workshop series. If you guys don't know Ron Paulk, go check him out. We'll link a description to his channel below. I really like watching his videos because he's about efficiency and working smarter, and that totally resonates with us. So let's get into it. We decided to take Ron's design and kind of pretty much modify it to the max for a number of reasons. The first thing we did is we decided to build this out of sheet metal instead of plywood. There's nothing wrong with plywood, but in our case, this goes from job site to job site, and I wanted it to last forever. So we made it out of sheet metal. I drew it up in AutoCAD, double checked my measurements, and sent it to a fabricator friend of mine who cut it out on a CNC. So the first thing you'll notice is that it's constructed of sheet metal, but it's tabulated, so when you assemble the table, it basically fits together only one way, and then it just goes together with a few tack welds here and there. Altogether, the assembly of this table, it was cut out on a CNC in less than 10 minutes with 3 sheets of 16 gauge sheet metal, and it took about an hour to tack weld it together and assemble the top. It probably took another hour to paint it black. Another thing you'll notice is that we did not build plywood stands for the table. We actually just bought some sawhorses off the shelf at the big box store, and they really work great. They're adjustable. We painted them black just to know that they're ours, basically, and so no one else confuses them with theirs. But they're adjustable. Right now they're set all the way down with a spacer here to get it to the appropriate height. Now there's 3 main functions of this table that what we use this table for are general assembly and just the workbench in general. We use it for an outfeed table for a large Laguna Tools Fusion F2 table saw. Also this Milwaukee cordless M18 table saw. And third, we use it for work support for a Milwaukee miter saw with a stand. But we use a lot of 16-foot material, so that stand doesn't really cut it sometimes. So those are the main purposes. The top of the table is made from 3/4 inch birch plywood. It's basically disposable. We also decided not to put dog holes in here because we've had tables with dog holes before, and the dust becomes a major issue with this design because dust just fills these cavities here, and it's very time consuming to clean out. So we decided to put a wood top with no dog holes, and it's working out great. If you're not familiar with this table, you'll see here that it's also 2 pieces. So disassembly is super easy and becomes manageable for one person to move this around and pack it up and move it to the next job site and so on. And to put this together, you basically set each piece on a sawhorse, on the sawhorses. And then there are some thumb screws here, some plastic knobs that allow you to basically clamp the 2 tables together, making it one smooth surface. So now I'll go over some of the advantages and disadvantages of building this workbench the way we built it, as opposed to Ron Paulk's plywood version. The sheet metal is thin enough to where the belt clips from all of your power tools can hang with no problem. Even the smaller clips have no problem. That's pretty much where we keep everything. The other advantage is it will last forever. It's made out of steel. It's not going anywhere. And I believe it's probably significantly stiffer than the plywood version. The third and main advantage, what was important to me, was the time it took to build this thing. I don't have 8 to 10 hours to build a workbench. This was done in a few hours and fairly affordably. We have probably around $250 into this thing between 3 sheets of plywood, this top, and 2 sawhorses. Now let's talk about some of the disadvantages. This table is definitely heavier without question than Ron Paulk's lightweight plywood version. Most of that comes from the sawhorses. Ron uses a plywood stands for his that are very simple to make, and these are probably 30 pounds heavier than those, easy. The other disadvantage, these openings for storage here, which pass all the way through, if you don't spend the time to file them down like we didn't, they get a little sharp sometimes. So I would definitely recommend if you're gonna build one out of sheet metal, you take the time to put a file on all those edges just to smooth it off. The third disadvantage is probably that you need a CNC machine and a welder to build this. Unless you know someone or have a friend who has those things, this is probably not for you. Now I'll go over some of the tips that I have if you're considering building one of these tables, no matter if it's plywood or sheet metal, kind of as just a guide to help you navigate through some issues that we had. So the first thing is, one of its primary functions is an outfeed table. You really have to think about what tools you're gonna use, what stands they're on, and how they're all gonna come together. So basically what we did, we have these 3 saws that all share the same outfeed. So we started by taking note of the equipment that had the hardest fixed height. So meaning this table saw would be very difficult to change or adjust the height of. It does have some adjustment screws for the legs on the bottom, but it has fixed wheels on the other side. And really without heavy modification, we're not gonna change the height of this table. I believe this table is 34 3/4, and this outfeed is the same dimension minus a 1/16 of an inch. That was a slight issue when we're talking about the Milwaukee table saw and miter saw. So out of the box, these stands are sold separate from the saws, both of them. And out of the box, I believe they're both a different height. All 3 saws were a different height out of the box. So we stuck with the big table saw. We used that as our benchmark. And we had to do some modifications over here. If you look at the base, you'll see some holes here. Those are the factory holes. And we had to this was very easy. We had to drill some holes and adjust these legs to get the height at 34 3/4 to match the Laguna table saw. Easy modification. Took about 20 minutes. The hardest part is getting these legs perfect. So what I would recommend is flip your table saw. If you have a job site saw, flip it on its top, remove the fence, drop the blade, flip it upside down, level it up perfect, and then use your worktop here as a guide to get the height right on all 4 individual legs. One last thing, this is a super easy modification to this saw that we forgot to mention when we recorded this the first time, is a lot of these job site saws, the dust extraction will basically shoot right into this table and fill it to the brim with sawdust. An easy fix for that is a 2-inch piece of PVC electrical conduit that we picked up at a big box store. You do have to modify, at least for the Milwaukee saw. We just took a Dremel tool or rotary tool and ground this down inside. And basically what that allows us to do is divert the dust below the table instead of right into it. It's a super cheap, easy fix. This was a couple bucks, done deal. The miter saw was probably the most difficult thing to change. So 3 of the 4 of these legs were very easy. It just was a matter of cutting them and reinstalling these rubber caps in the end, or plastic caps. Piece of cake. The problem came in on the adjustable leg, which you can see here. It has an adjustment screw to level out the leg if there's any discrepancies in the ground. So that was pretty difficult. We had to cut the leg, remove the threaded insert inside the leg, and then weld it back into the shortened leg. But once that was done, it all works perfectly, and couldn't be happier with this table. We use it every day, and it's amazing. It really serves every need I think anybody who works with wood on a daily basis could have for a table. Another tip I'll give you is when you finish the table, no matter what the top is, what kind of wood, you're gonna wanna put some finishing wax on that. So we used Varathane finishing wax and applied 3 coats of this, and really what it does is it just makes it super slick so material slides very easily over the table, which is great for an outfeed. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it or found some of this helpful. We're new to YouTube. This is our first video, so please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. We plan on putting out some interesting videos in the future, maybe some tool reviews also. So until next time, we'll see you then.